How wonderful to be here once again after our launch that we had in December. Just for those of you who don't know who I am, my name's Helen Bodycomb and I am the lucky coordinator of the 2024 symposium. I'm speaking to you today from the lands of the Ramindjeri and the Ngarrindjeri people. Normally I'm in Victoria, in Geelong, talking from the lands of the Wadawurrung or occasionally the lands of the Jara people in central Victoria. And I'm sure you all know on whose countries you are and that you will accept my invitation to acknowledge all First Nations people and pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. This is going to be particularly important, I think, come the symposium too, where we're really looking forward to having a welcome to country from our Dja Dja Wurrung traditional owners, and we'll be having some representation at the symposium from First Nations peoples. I'd like to introduce you to the committee now, who have been working very, very hard on preparation of the symposium. I'm the coordinator. I'm also the Vic Rep, where I'm assisted by Barb Ullenbrook and Bev Plowman. Marion Shapiro is the acting president for MAANZ following the very untimely death of Dorothy Burke in November. Caitlin Hepworth is the MAANZ Education Officer and is looking after education and very importantly with exhibitions and workshops for the symposium. Amanda Tatham is the Communications and Opus Oracle Editor. Helen Hughes is our treasurer. Sue Binzer is our secretary, and Sue is being supported by Suzanne McKay on admin support, and David Lacey is helping us a huge amount. There are lots of other people who are helping in the back blocks as well. And just to remember, we are a not-for-profit, community-led volunteer organisation. So I'm sure you'll join me in thanking all of these people who are working very hard. I think we're going to move on now to a little video from Marion, who couldn't join us tonight, but she's prepared a lovely video.
Hi, I'm Marion Shapiro, MAANZ Acting President. Good evening and welcome everybody to the 2024 MAANZ International Symposium registration and workshop launch. We're very excited to give everyone a preview of our first real-life symposium since 2019. Unfortunately, I'm unable to be here in person this evening as I have a previous unavoidable commitment, so I have pre-recorded this short introduction to our launch. Early bird registration for the symposium is opening immediately after this event, and we're here to give you insight into registration, accommodation, and an in-depth look at the inspiring symposium workshops from both international and Australian presenters. David Lacey, our membership secretary, will be available at the end of the session to answer any questions you might have about registration. Early bird registration is open to MAANZ members only, so if you're not yet a MAANZ member and you want to take advantage of the symposium offerings, you can join via the MAANZ website, and symposium workshops are only open to registered symposium delegates. Your registration as a delegate gives you an exciting range of activities with something for everyone. You get access to plenary sessions with an inspiring mix of Australian and international speakers, plus delicious catering including morning and afternoon tea and a scrumptious array of lunch options, the vendors market, the symposium dinner, salon and quiz night, the symposium launch and international exhibition opening, the 3030 opening, and the opportunity to add on workshops led by renowned international and Australian mosaic artists. And once registered, as well as workshop places, you can also buy guest tickets to selected symposium events, if you're bringing a friend or partner, and tickets for an exhibitor's place at the salon. We will be having another online event at 6 o'clock on Tuesday the 2nd of April to announce opening of entries to the two exhibitions, the International and the 3030, which will accompany the symposium. And we'll also share more information on the 2024 MAANZ Community Mosaic Project, Common Unity. And this session is being recorded and made available on the MAANZ YouTube channel in a few days' time. So that's all for me for the moment, and I really look forward to seeing everybody in Geelong. I will now hand back to Helen Bodicum, the Symposium Coordinator.
Thank you so much, Marion. I just want to quickly talk to the theme, time and materiality. Exploring change is one way of thinking about time. Time is a measure of change, and material range is another way of describing materiality. So, you know, I think when we first launched this theme, there were some people who felt a little bit confounded by it, but as we talk about it some more, about the breadth really of responses that anybody could make to these, it helps to suddenly open the can of worms and realise how many ways there are to make a mosaic. Some of the questions that might help trigger you are why we're making mosaics and who we're making them for and what roles the materials might play in the works that we make. You could make works in response to the international exhibition using the theme either just time or materiality or time and materiality. The plenary sessions will address these themes of time and materiality. Just to remind you that the 3030 exhibition is unthemed. So works made for that show do not need to address the symposium theme of time and materiality. I thought I'd just quickly speak to the program just to remind those of you who may not have a sense at this stage about what's actually being planned. So on Thursday, the 14th of November, our first day, we'll invite registrations at the Novotel, which will be the symposium hub on the Geelong waterfront, and they'll open at 11 a.m. and go through till 4. We'll also have a vendors market open during those hours, adjacent to the registrations desk. And that evening, we've got our very special official opening of not just the symposium, but also the MAANZ International Exhibition at the National War Museum. We'll have a special welcome to country from Wadawurrung wine and so on. And after that, you can go off and have dinner with your friends, your comrades who you're communing with for the first time after not seeing them for 5 years, perhaps, since the last time we got together. On the Friday, we have the plenary. That's the really big day. We've got 11 presentations, most of them in person, just a few shorter ones by video. And then we have a celebration dinner that night at the Novotel. Then Saturday, Sunday and Monday really have mosaic workshops as the focus, with the added exciting events on the Saturday of the 3030 exhibition opening at the Hue and Cry Art Gallery, followed by the salon and quiz night, which will be held on the top floor of the Geelong Library. Everything is very close by. You can walk between all of these venues. They're all very close and on or very close to the Geelong waterfront. The other big event on the Sunday is, of course, the MAANZ AGM, which we know everybody will be absolutely gagging to attend because it's the AGM is a really, really important event for all of you to come to if you are there on site. It's a very important opportunity for each of us to hear what's been going on and to contribute to the future life of MAANZ. The workshops will wrap up on Monday, the 18th. And that will be the end of this year's symposium. So what is registration and what do you get for your registration package? So the cost of registering for the symposium is $550. Now, the symposium package includes attendance to the plenary, which I just described. We'll have 11 presentations. Attendance to the international exhibition opening with the refreshments that are being served that evening. The ability to register for workshops. That is, if you haven't paid your symposium registration, you're not able to register for mosaic workshops at the symposium. The conference dinner is the big dinner at the Novotel. And the 3030 exhibition opening, which I just referred to at the Hue and Cry Gallery, will also have some refreshments and things which are included. The salon and quiz night. Entrance in the salon event itself is a separate fee if you're going to present your work, but attendance to the event and the opportunity to purchase works through the salon is open to you if you have registered. Also, attendance at the quiz night, which is going to be a real hoot, and that will include local wines and beers and plattered food at our quiz tables. The vendors market is going to be available from Thursday through to Sunday. We have symposium event catering. So the Novotel is a beautiful caterer, which is available to you in conjunction with workshops that you have booked and the plenary. And early bird registration, which will open at the end of tonight's session, will be open to MAANZ members only. So if you're joining us tonight and you're not yet a MAANZ member, as Marion said at the beginning, early bird registration won't be available to you until you sign up. So we have 5 international plenary presenters who will be joining us in person. We're very excited to be welcoming Luca Barberini from Italy as our keynote speaker. Arianna Gallo will also be coming from Italy, Tamara Froud from the UK, Mireille Swinnen from Belgium, and Annabella Weber from the US, formerly of Venezuela. Each of these individuals is an international world leader in the field of contemporary mosaic, and I think we will all be blown away by what they have to share with us. It needs to be remembered that the opportunity to go and hear these people at the plenary and potentially to do a workshop with them as part of the symposium is an international. So for all of those reasons, I think, you know, this program is selling itself. So we also have some Pecha Kucha plenary presenters, and some of you may be wondering, what is Pecha Kucha? So Pecha Kucha is a short and snappy presentation mode, which involves a presenter speaking to 20 slides, each for 20 seconds. And so it's a really snappy kind of way of presenting. Sharon Pine, who was until recently MAANZ secretary, will be presenting on contemporary mosaic practice in New Zealand. Dan Mitchell, who is not a mosaicist, but who's a public art specialist. He's been an arts officer. He's commissioned a lot of public art, and he's a Noongar artist from Western Australia who now lives in Victoria, and he's a specialist in Indigenous cultural, contemporary cultural relations and story, and he will be sharing with us time and materiality from a First Nations perspective. We have the fabulous Carol Shelkin presenting from the US, that'll be via a video presentation, and also Joanna Kessel. I'm sure both of those people are well known to many of you. And someone who may be lesser known is Professor Brendan Weeks, who is a very enthusiastic mosaicist. He's actually a neurophysicist, and his specialty is AI and art. So we're going to be covering the full spectrum, really, between our international in-person presenters and our Pecha Kucha, which is a much kind of snappier presentation mode. So we'll talk to just some of the other extras that you can purchase. Workshops, as we said earlier, are an additional cost to the symposium registration. You need to be registered in order to buy workshops. We're also going to be having some gallery talks, which Caitlin and David Jack will be giving. And the cost is not high, but that is an additional cost. If you have a partner or a friend with you or a relative who would like to accompany you for any events, such as the dinner, the salon, or to the exhibition openings, you will need to buy a guest ticket for them if they're not a registered delegate for the symposium. If you would like to be an exhibitor at the Small Works Salon, which is an opportunity to put a small work into a silent auction, and I think there's only 45 places. Is that right, David? 45? Yes? No? Yep. So places are very limited for the salon, and that also is an additional purchase. If you would like to exhibit in the MAANZ International or the 3030, then also they are additional. Just quickly to say, the MAANZ International will carry the theme time and materiality, and that is a juried exhibition. So not everybody who puts forward a work to exhibit there will have that work accepted, but the 3030 exhibition, which has no theme, it's open, is an unjuried exhibition. So everybody who wants to put a work in the 3030, 30 centimetres by 30 centimetres, will get that work in the show. And exhibition details and entry forms will be available from the 2nd of April. So I just wanted to quickly talk to the recommended accommodation. Firstly, just to say that symposium delegates will make their own accommodation bookings. I've done a lot of research in Geelong and gone to visit everywhere, and we've got the best places with the best promo codes, but the relationship you set up through your bookings is directly between you and the accommodation providers. The promo codes are for stays between the 12th and the 19th of November 2024, and they're available now. Now, as you know, the Novotel is going to be the symposium hub, and so you may like to stay right in the symposium hub. The price varies a little bit depending on the day of the week, and this is a pretty consistent thing across all of the accommodation providers, and they provide parking. Now, that's important if you're driving, because parking in a Geelong can be quite tight. Also offering very good quality accommodation, very close to the Novotel, are both View Apartments and our hotel. It's about 7 minutes walk, and this gives you a sense of where they are, located across from a small park, which you can see down in the bottom right. And it's really just a 7 minutes easy walk, pretty flat, down to the Novotel. So they're 3 accommodation options, and we also have a couple of budget accommodation options just to share with you. And they are Quest Central Geelong and Eden Oak. Now, note Quest actually has two Quest apartment complexes in Geelong, and Quest Central is the one that I would recommend above them, over the two. And the promo codes, the promo code for Quest is on here. They're giving a very generous discount. I think what's important to know is that it is a longer distance from the Novotel. It's a 16-minute walk. They have great apartment options, but they don't provide parking. So if you're driving to Geelong, that's probably not the best option for you. If you are driving to Geelong and you like a good walk in the morning, then Eden Oak offers a really great standard budget accommodation in a park close to, well, you know, kind of half an hour walk or so down through the Novotel, but it's a beautiful park and across the beach via the waterfront each day, and they have free on-site parking. I think that might be it from me. And Caitlin, I'll pass things back to you.
Hello, hello. Thank you very much, Helen, for that wonderful introduction to the fabulous program. It's lovely to be with you all tonight. And as Helen mentioned, my role is the MAANZ Education Officer. And in particular, with this symposium, I am taking on the role of workshop coordinator, which means that I'm working with all our amazing tutors to come up with a rich program for the symposium event. So Helen has talked around the plenary program and the additional symposium activities, and my job tonight is to take you through the workshop program. So as Helen mentioned, the workshops are purchased separately to the symposium registration, and the workshops range greatly in price and length. So we've tried to come up with a program that offers something for everyone, from a 1 hour $10 talk through to a 16-hour 2-day workshop and everything in between. So you can structure your workshop time based on your level of interest, your level of experience, and your budget, and how long you can stay in Geelong for, whether you can stay for the symposium itself and then 3 full workshop days, or whether you can only stay for the weekend or perhaps one of those days. So we have prepared a timetable, and this timetable is on the MAANZ website. And basically what we've done is put each workshop in a band here. So the top 2, this whole top section is the Saturday, the second section is the Sunday, and then the third section is the Monday. And you'll see where there are 2-day workshops over Saturday and Sunday, followed by a 1-day workshop on the Monday. So we've tried to come up with a colour system that might look appealing and also help you to decide and work out where you can be at what time. So I'm going to now step through the program, and we're going to try to speak to each of these workshop events very briefly. I have invited all the presenters to be here tonight. Some people have not been able to make it due to other commitments and, of course, being in different time zones. I know in America it's the middle of the night right now. So some presenters have kindly sent through a short video. I'm going to start with talking about my workshop here. So I will be doing the gallery talk. This is the shortest and the quickest event that you can attend in the workshop program. Now, the gallery talk is, it's a 1-hour talk, and this will be at the National Wool Museum, which is the site for the international exhibition. I'm running this talk each of the 3 workshop days, which give the maximum availability for our delegates to attend. So the reason that we do this talk is to really help broaden the understanding of contemporary mosaic art. So I'll be taking you around the exhibition. I will select a small range of works. We won't talk about every work, and I'll pick different works. I won't necessarily pick prize winners. I'll pick things that are unusual or offer something different to the mosaic experience, and then talk to you about why this is an interesting approach and how the artist has worked with their choice of materials and their concept and how they've resolved the work. So that's open to everyone. It's a $10 event and it's approximately 1 hour. Now on the 3rd day, which is the Monday, I will be joining forces with David Jack, and David Jack is here tonight. I'll bring him up in a moment to talk about his workshop. But David Jack was one of the artists and installers on the Geelong mural, which is housed very close to the National Wool Museum. And that day will combine a visit to see the mural and to hear from David, as well as the gallery talk itself. Following that, we step up to what we called our panel discussions. And we have 2 panel discussions, and these are 3 hours in length. And I'm going to bring in Paul now. And it's lovely to see you today. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your panel that you are hosting in conjunction with Kristen Vollers and Dominic Johns.
Hi, great to be on board and first cab off the rank. I'm Paul Perry. I live in Bargara, which is about 5 hours drive north of Brisbane in Queensland. I share the Queensland MAANZ role with Catherine Connerty and Tani Bates. And for me, this is my first, or will be my first MAANZ Symposium and my first symposium that I'll be presenting at. So looking forward to seeing everybody in November. I'll be facilitating a workshop with a panel focusing on my passion. My passion is community mosaics. And the other panel members, as you see on the screen there, will be Dominic Johns, a highly experienced mosaicist from North Queensland, and Kristen Vollers from Barossa Valley, someone who I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, would know, obviously from South Australia. All 3 of us will be giving short presentations on some of the community mosaic projects that we've been involved with, and then unpacking the critical issues that one needs to be aware of, plan for when embarking on community mosaic journey, especially the intangibles and the often forgotten relationship issues. This session will provide the opportunity to learn, to brainstorm, to share, to ask lots of questions of our experienced panel members, as well as to access the collective expertise of the participating delegates. We'll be sharing our successes, challenges, and probably more importantly, our failures, as well as those learnings that we've experienced as really collective learnings from a variety of public and community mosaic projects that we've all been involved with, as well as facilitating a Q&A session so that we can answer all of your questions, small group discussions, scenario planning for possible project structures. So if you've ever entertained the idea of becoming involved in community mosaic projects in your own area, this workshop is definitely for you. We look forward to meeting you in Geelong later this year.
Thank you very, very much, Paul. So these panel discussions are going to be a really interesting format, and it's going to allow for a lot of interaction between the panelists and the participants, and there'll be very, very high-level interactive experiences. So thank you, Paul, for coming on today and sharing a couple of points about your workshop with us. And we're now going to move on to Helen, and Helen will be facilitating the professional practice panel, Living the Art of Mosaic.
Thanks so much, Caitlin, and thanks, Paul. It's a very, very exciting thing to be part of. When I started making mosaics, you know, more than 30 years ago now, there really were so few opportunities in Australia to share or to be part of learning this sort of thing from someone who had the experience. So I think learning from failure is so important. I think, you know, the longer you make, the more failures you have to draw on. And I guess in some ways it's from this perspective that I think the professional practice panel that I will be leading with several guest panelists will hopefully help some of you who attend to kind of leapfrog some of the difficulties. I know there are quite a lot of people practicing mosaic now who are really interested to learn more about how you can actually survive and how you can thrive making a living from being an artistic mosaicist. So we'll explore everything from lifestyle, the studio setups, how to write successful arts residency and grant applications, to critique, which is about both giving good critique and receiving it, and big projects, some of the things that you need to stay on top of. Strategic alliances, CV building and maintaining a CV, conceptual development, also some of the OH&S risks associated with what we're doing, which over the long term really have to be very carefully managed. Professional development in terms of learning from others and what can help build your practice, and managing big projects, whether that's a big project for your backyard or your local school or a major public or private commission. So for those of you who want a bit more meat in your mosaic sandwich, I'll be delighted to share what I know and to host a couple of special guests sharing Living the Art of Mosaic professional practice with you. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thanks very much, Helen. I think this is going to be a great one, and I was hoping to come along myself. This is exactly the type of panel discussion that I would love to participate in, except I'm going to be running my talks at the same time. But this is perfect for those of you who take mosaic seriously, and I know lots of you do. So thank you, Helen. I'm really looking forward to hearing about what you've got planned. And next we have our very exciting keynote speaker joining us. We have Luca Barberini, all the way from Ravenna. Welcome, Luca, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Hello, guys. Hello. How are you?
We are very well. It's so lovely to see you here tonight. And so we have you featured on each day of our program. You are running 3 of these performance masterclass events. So firstly, I think some of our members might be asking, well, what does that mean? What does that mean, Luca?
I'm so excited, and the programs are really, really cool. I can say that my program, it will be a new way to feel my art, because it's really rare that I work in front of such a lot of people. And I try to be myself and work on my projects, and I will be open to all the other people, and so questions, themes to discuss during my activity. It will be good to do, and I don't know now what I'm doing, because I'm a pretty wild artist when I work in white paper. And so I think it will be really amazing. And I think to use all the materials that you can provide for me, And maybe you know what is my preferred materials, like stained glass, ceramic, and marble too. But the theme of my works, it will be expressed in the moment. So that can be also interesting, how to look in my because it's not possible. Try to look in my brain and see how I filter all the ideas into mosaic.
Thank you, Luca. So what we're going to be doing in this performance masterclass is we're going to set up a vertical camera directly above Luca's workstation, which will be connected to a large screen. So there'll be a group of participants which will be around Luca. They'll be able to see him, see what he's doing, as well as see close up on the screen what he's doing with his hands and cutting and placing the tesserae. And he'll be working on one whole piece in each of these performances. So each performance will see the start and completion of a whole piece. So you'll see the process from start to finish. He'll be responding to the theme. You'll be able to see his journey through the mosaic making process, his questions, his answers, his resolutions. And Luca is really a storyteller, and the way he will bring to life the story in the mosaic is what you will see and experience, as well as being close up and personal and being able to ask him questions about his practice. So thank you very much, Luca. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you. See you soon.
Okay, so next we have on the program, we have our half-day workshops. So we have a couple of half-day workshops on offer, and these are 4 hours. I was really particular when putting together this program that I wanted a full day to be 8 hours of work, not 6, not 5. So our half day is 4 hours, our full day is 8 hours. We start at 8:30 in the morning, we finish at 5:30 in the evening. So our half days are our 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So one of the first half day workshops we have is Catherine's workshop. And Catherine is one of the beautiful Queensland representatives, and she is unable to be here tonight. I actually suspect it might be her birthday, I'm not sure. But she has prepared this short video for us, so I'll play that for you now.
Hi, my name's Catherine Connerty. I'm a Brisbane-based mosaic artist. I've been working with glass for 27 years and teaching for over 10 years. Glass is my great passion, and I am delighted to be teaching a couple of workshops at this year's symposium. The 2 workshops that I'm running are both half-day courses. The first one being Beautiful Banksias, where we learn about cutting shards and layering and creating a glass-on-glass piece on a Perspex base. I will bring with me a lovely selection of colours and textures for you to create your own design. The second workshop I'm running is Dimensional Flowers. So that's using shards again to create 3D sort of flower shapes that you can use in glass on glass, and you can make them in a range of different sizes. So for that workshop, we'll be creating a vase of flowers. Each of the workshops are suitable for complete beginners up to the more advanced. So I hope to see you at one of the classes. Cheers.
So you can see Catherine has included an image here of her first half-day offering, which is her dimensional glass flowers, which she spoke about. And then following this, we have her other half-day workshop, which is Beautiful Banksias. So this is a perfect workshop for introductory level delegates who are looking to learn more about stained glass and who are looking to learn to use stained glass in really creative ways, as well as dimensional ways. So thank you, Catherine, for sending in the video. Thank you in your absence. We hope you're having a wonderful night. So next up, we have another half-day workshop with David Jack. Now, David, I'd love you to tell us about your workshop offering.
Oh, thank you, Caitlin. This is a marvellous opportunity to share a lifetime experience that I have of something like 45 years of making mainly project-based mosaics using Smolty all over Australia, into Asia. An amazing tour, starting with no experience. We had no experience when we first started, so we've learnt through a lot of mistakes and maybe compounded some bad habits, which you can point out to me. So, look, this is for all levels. I think, you know, each level will have something to learn there. The thing is that I think the takeaways for this are going to be in gaining confidence, especially in cutting with Smolty, because it's such an expensive material. And maybe some people shy away from it for that reason. And so we'll be looking at just the little wheel cutter, which is, honestly, it's as good as the Hammer and Hardy. But the Hammer and Hardy is what I've used for 25 years until the little wheelie cutters came along. And our Hammer and Hardy wear in a very particular way that reflects our good or bad habits. I'll be bringing all those hammers, but if you've got a hammer and you want to do this workshop with us, then bring it. So we'll be even cutting gold tiles. I've got slab glass, 25mm thick slab glass, Dalle de Veer as it's called. We'll be looking at marble. I think it's an important thing to look across the range of materials so you can come away more or less, you know, qualified in cutting 101 and feel confident to take on perhaps any project. And maybe this will therefore stretch you into areas that you haven't considered before from the materiality point of view. So look, even faceting comes into it. I've done slab glass windows, and even in tiny micro mosaics, a smooth surface on a piece of mosaic is often not a desired look. And so you can micro sort of facet those. That's tedious and slow, but you'll learn all of that. So I've also got an Orsoni wheel cutting device, which is how they produce their acres of cut mosaics in Italy there, so in Venice. So I'll bring that along because that can cut down bulk things very quickly for backgrounds and such things. So we'll explore all that together. We'll look a little bit at the history of it. And of course, it does relate so much into andamento because of the way that you might be cutting for flow reasons. We'll even be able to cut curves for creating eyelids and various things. And we'll finish off with a little tiny dot, which you will see on the mosaic in the Geelong government offices, the mosaic we did back in 78, 79, 80. There's a little tiny piece there, and it's an insignia on a Spitfire aeroplane, and you'll have to try and work out how I made that little insignia about 10mm across in 3 colours.
What a fantastic range of offerings there, David. And yes, I think if people don't know David Jack, you really are David is a national treasure. Incredibly knowledgeable.
Living treasure.
Incredibly. And we are just so privileged to have him involved in this event and to have him willing and able to pass on all these amazing skills to you, as well as join me in the gallery talk at the Geelong offices. So David and I will be working together on that 3rd gallery talk event. Yep. So David is running this half-day workshop twice.
Yeah.
So once on the Saturday and once again on the Sunday. So there's 2 opportunities to catch David, and I highly recommend spending some time with this incredibly skilled artist. So thank you, David, for joining us tonight. And next we are going to hear from Tamara Froud. So Tamara, are you there? There you are.
Hello.
Hello, Tamara. Thank you so much for coming over for this wonderful event. And you are running 2 one-day workshops. So the first one is a little bit different. If you would like to give me maybe a minute or so description about what you've got in mind here.
So lots of you might know me from the Mosaic for Afghan Women, which happened over lockdown. And I started Mosaics in a community project. So for me, it's something that I always go back to, and it's something that I wanted to bring to this symposium. So I'll just read the little theme bit that I wrote for it. Our aim is to do a community project that leaves a bit of a legacy from this symposium. So what I wrote was, we're all humans living in what sometimes seems like a disparate world, more so now than ever before. This project aims to recognise the unity of this global community while celebrating the eclectic nature of who we are, our origins and backstories, our unique heritage, and our special influences. And what I'm trying to do is, we want to have small elements that are created by all of you and that represent you, that we will then put together in a community project workshop, and it will form part of that workshop, the process of putting stuff together. In the community project workshop, we will also look at setting up a project. So we'll probably be building on what Paul Perry's session, and we'll look at my experiences of working on these projects for 25 years or so, and gathering communities together, and how other ways of going about it, the process of doing it, and building a project in general. So another look at community, working with communities on all levels in all across the globe and in your own spaces, from small to large.
Fantastic. And the preparation of the elements for this project is what we'll talk about later, because our members have the opportunity to join in a couple of virtual make-alongs that Tamara will be facilitating in throughout the middle of this year, and then to contribute pieces that they will send in to become part of this project. So we'll talk more about this and the intended destination for it at our next live in April. However, this particular one-day workshop, whilst it does focus on the Common Unity project, the bigger takeaway is how to go about working with these large-scale community mosaics and putting these things together successfully. So thank you, Tamara. Would you now like to talk about your second one-day workshop, which is Supersize Me, large-scale indirect mosaics? And this will be running on the Sunday, and it's a full-day workshop.
Yes. So you should all be familiar with the indirect method, and I've called this Supersize Me because this workshop is about taking a small scale use of this method to a much larger scale. So this is a way to create large scale projects for public spaces or for private spaces using the paper-faced indirect method. So I've used it for creating murals for floors, walls, and ceilings. In the workshop, we'll be working through the processes. So we will create something so that you're not just listening to me blah-blahing on. We will make a small project that we will basically work together on, and then we'll go through the process of organizing and planning, developing your design, setting up your studio, planning Elemento, making the glue, laying the tesserae, making changes, sectioning the mosaic. And then we will also actually experience the process of installing a collaborative piece together in the afternoon. So it's hands-on it's theory in the morning, hands-on in the afternoon.
Fantastic, Tamara. What a wonderful technical lineup that you've got going there. So 2 separate one-day workshops with Tamara. And thank you for being here tonight, Tamara. And we will see you, a lot more of you, at our next live online in April, where we will go through the details of the Common Unity project with our community officer, Kristen Vollers, as well as be discussing our exhibition program. Okay, so next we have our very own artist, Tasmanian artist, Wendy Edwards.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, Wendy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It all sounds so exciting. So I'm a Tasmanian artist, and I live 45 minutes south of Hobart in in thick forest, which is part of what drives my art practice. And so those of you familiar with my work, you know, lots of birds, lots of animals, and they are all sorts of scale. So in these, I'm doing 2 one-day workshops where we will all be making small sculptures, which we will then have the ability, once you get those skills, you figure that out, it's quite an easy situation to then upscale those to larger works for, you can see on the screen there, that's actually a piece that I'm installing tomorrow, but I start from small sculptures and then figuring that out. It's just a matter of then knowing the certain steps that you need then to upscale and be able to create your own larger piece for a project later on, or keep them small and fun. Yeah.
So you'll be running the same thing twice. Okay, so just to make that clear, it's 2 single days of the same thing, which means that students can pick to go with one day or the other, which frees you up on either the Saturday or the Sunday to do something else. And you'll be making small scale sculptures. Just to be clear, we're not making big owls, big huge birds, kangaroos. Okay, it's small, and there'll be a couple of sculptures during the day. And Wendy is refining her technique and bringing everything up from Tasmania. All the tools and the materials are coming in her car across on the ferry to Geelong just for you. So Wendy, I know it's a huge effort to get all that together, particularly with sculpture. It's a lot, I know firsthand, and we're really excited for this workshop, and we hope that you enjoy it, and really good luck. Tomorrow Wendy's installing a huge sculpture that's standing 7 meters in the air, and it needs a crane. So this is the woman, she knows what she's doing. Okay, we're very lucky to have her. Okay, thank you so much, Wendy. We are now going to Deanna.
Hi, Caitlin.
How are you, Deanna?
I'm good, thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Deanna Koenig. I'm from Blackwood, South Australia, which is in the Adelaide Hills, where I run my studio, Mosaics by Design. At my studio, I do commission work and run weekly workshops, classes, and also intensive workshops. So at my workshop, which is called Sensational Succulents, participants will create a realistic mosaic using stained glass. We'll work over a photo onto a temporary background, and some basic experience in glass cutting is necessary.
So you can really see in these images that we've got on screen how gorgeous your work is and how incredibly skilled you are at realism in stained glass. And I can even see behind you on the wall in your studio now more beautiful examples. So we're very lucky to have you join us, because this is a very technical workshop, and students will be making a small work, and Deanna is preparing a range of choices. So students will choose from, I think, maybe 3 designs that she has selected and edited specifically for this. And then she'll be bringing those particular colours over from Adelaide to Geelong for you to use. And you can see the lovely details and the use of tonal qualities and value, the colour theory in there. So it's a really very well-rounded and technical experience. We've said intermediate level. By that, we mean that, you know, really would be good if you knew how to cut glass before you come, because you're going to be needing to do some fairly precise work. So this is not really a workshop for beginners, but if you've got any concerns or want to know whether you're suitable, you can send me an email and I can check in with Deanna as well. Anything else you want to tell us about the experience, Deanna?
I'll work through photos. We'll talk about photos and what type of photos make for a good mosaic, using shadows, looking for shadows, which help to give depth to the mosaic. I'll give you lots of tips and tricks. I'll show you how to transfer your mosaic from a temporary backing onto a permanent substrate.
Excellent.
So you'll also, I'll also give you detailed notes and plenty of glass to finish your piece at home.
Thank you so much, Gianna. It all sounds
Yeah.
wonderful. And thank you for giving us that fantastic explanation of what's involved. So next we are going to be going to Ariana.
Hello, Caitlin. I'm very happy to be here with you today. Hello, everybody. I'm Arianna Gallo from Ravenna. I have my own studio here in Ravenna, and I'm very excited and honored to be part of this amazing symposium. The program is incredible, and also the workshops, all the teachers and the artists is great. It's very rich, the program. I'm so excited. And during this symposium, I'm going to run 2 workshops. The first one will be 2 days workshop. And basically in this workshop, I'm going to teach you one of the most traditional technique that we use in Ravenna, which is the direct technique onto cement or thin set adhesive, working on a wooden frame. And in the 2 days workshop, we are going to work in sections. So what I'm going to teaching you is how to divide the drawing that I'm going to show you, where you can the drawing that you can do in mosaic, that is going to be basically a replica of an ancient mosaic. So we are going to divide this drawing in 3 parts, and we are going to work in 3 different sections. We have 2 days. So the first day, at the beginning, we are going to focus on the technique, how it works, and we are going to prepare materials. So the cutting. And so we are going to cut a little bit by hammer and hardy, like we do in Ravenna. And then in the afternoon of the first day, you are going to do your first section. And then the second day, we are going to work in the morning in the second section, and in the afternoon in the third section. So finishing the mosaic. I'm going to give you 3 different drawings. So this workshop is suitable for beginners, intermediate, and advanced, because I'm going to give you 3 choices. And so don't worry if you never tried this technique, because the drawing is not going to be too complicated.
Thank you very much, Ariana. And so this is the 2-day offering, which is 16 hours. And Ariana is also running a 1-day version of the same workshop. So the 2-day workshop will run on the Saturday and Sunday, but if you're already fully booked on those 2 days somewhere else, you could choose to do Ariana's workshop on the Monday. And the Monday is a 1-day version of that same course. So it's 8 hours and a smaller scale outcome. So Ariana, would you just like to say a few words about the 1 day and how it differs?
Yes, sure. So as Caitlin said, it's going to be the same technique. So the mosaic is going to be smaller. Even in this case, I'm going to let you choose from 3 different drawings. And so so 3 different levels: beginners, intermediate, and advanced. And we are going to cut in the morning, preparing all the material in the morning, and in the afternoon we are going to do the mosaic in just one time, in one section, I mean. And even in this case, you are going to have your drawing made with the water-soluble ink, like the 2 days workshop. And so we are going to transfer this drawing onto the cement surface. I call it cement, but it's a glue for tiles, probably the same one that you use maybe. And so we are going to finish our mosaic. Even in this case, it's going to be a detail from the Ravenna ancient mosaic.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I had the great pleasure of attending a workshop recently on Helen Bodycombe's Southern Italy tour, and Ariana was the teacher, and such a fantastic teacher. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I know all of our members will love learning from you. And this is a really great technique to learn. So thank you, Ariana, for being here. Next, we are going to move to our workshops with Annabella Weber. She's running 2 workshops, a 2-day workshop in Andamento as a language, and then a 1-day workshop in building gradations in mosaic. Now, Annabella is not able to join us today. So what she has done is made this short introduction.
Hello, I'm Annabella Weber, originally from Caracas, Venezuela, living in the United States, living a nomadic life this year, and so don't have a home state. I am currently in Texas. I am thrilled to be joining you at MAANZ this year to both speak at the conference and teach a few workshops. I will be teaching a 2-day workshop on the language of Andamento, which for me is closely related to handwriting and how we express ourselves. And so those who take the workshop will be hearing me make relationships between type and language and even music, and how we set our lines, and how each individual line in a mosaic can say a lot and stand on its own. Some of you will be familiar with a few of my most recent works, which are largely monochromatic and relying on the andamento to do the heavy lifting. And that is what we will be talking about and practicing. And we won't be making a finished mosaic. We will be doing a lot of exercises and having a lot of conversation about what the lines can mean and what the materials we use will say themselves. I will also be teaching a workshop on gradations called Fading Away, where we will be playing with color and shades and tones to understand how many of them we need to make successful gradations over a particular span of space. But we will also be doing some merging of gradations and working out how to do very successful gradations with less colors. With 3 or 4 colors, we can do some amazing things. So it'll be quick, it'll be fun and exciting, and I hope I'll see you all there. And really, really looking forward to meeting everyone at the conference and seeing your beautiful country. See you there.
So this is Annabella's 2-day workshop. So it's a full 16 hours. And then her 1-day workshop, as she was discussing here, is her Fading Away gradations in mosaic. So this one will be on the Monday, and following her Andamento as language workshops on the Saturday and the Sunday. Now we are going to hear from another one of our international guests, and she is joining us today from Belgium. Hello, Mireille.
Hi, good morning, Caitlin. Good morning, everyone. Yes, so excited. I'm almost regretting being a workshop presenter because there's so many interesting workshops I would like to follow myself. I have to miss that, but I think I'll come back some other conference and take those workshops. It's really amazing. So I'm Mireille Swinnen. I live in Belgium, And with Annabella being a nomad, I've been a nomad most of my life, traveling the world with my husband, lived in the US, in Africa, in Asia. And through most of that, I was teaching. And I'm always teaching a specific style, painterly mosaics that draws on what has been called by the students the river of Smalty. So what does that mean? I dump a pile of Smalty mixed colors in front of you. You have your figurative image that you want to be working from. And then I talk you through how you can use those Smalty to your best advantage to make it a really nice, not only colorful, but artistic rendering of the image that you're working with. Smalty is my preferred material to work with. It's from Orsoni in Venice, Italy. They have about 3,000 colors, and yeah, I cannot work without color. So I really love this material. It's so vibrant, and using it a specific way, you can make it even more vibrant. I have a few small things. I like to work with animals. So this is a small animal. And from far, it looks like a photograph, but up close, it has all these different colors. There's hardly two colors that are the same in there. Same here. It's just a little rabbit thing. From far, it's like a little TV screen. Up close, you have, of course, all the parts. You know, it's mosaic. You know how it works. But what am I going to do for you? It's hands-on. It's direct. So we make a small project. I'm going to say of your choice. I'm going to help suggest images. And if you can suggest images that work for me, that will be fine. I think we'll have to see how much time we have and to see if it fits the stash of materials that I will be able to get. But
we'll be working with a huge range of color and material, and the material you like to use is the roti, which allows the students to get that very painterly feeling in the mosaic surface. So a wonderful 2-day offering, Mireille. And can you tell us a little bit about the 1-day workshop?
Yeah, the 1-day workshop is totally different. It's a micro mosaic class. And a lot of people are daunted by that because they think, oh, it's way small, it's difficult, I cannot do that. But recently I've been pushing people in my studio in Belgium more and more to take that on, and they've come up with some stunning results and they're surprised. So we work in bezels. There's one of them on the screen, but there's this one here. The bezels are silver plated, some are sterling silver, and then we fill them with filati. The filati are again from Venice, from Murano. We learn how to cut and how to place these filati that they make interesting jewelry items. This is a replica of Venice, by the way. This is a shape of Venice. So I'll be offering a couple of different styles, how you can work with these filati to have contemporary results in mosaic micro jewelry making.
Fabulous, Mireille. So we
Yes.
have two really different options. The painterly Smalty in the 2-day offering, and then the micro mosaic jewelry in the 1-day offering. And thank you so much for coming in live today. Really appreciate it. And
totally worth it.
We look forward to hearing more from you and seeing you again live in a few months' time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're most welcome. And just to finish off on our workshops, there's going to be a couple of things coming out from me in the next little while. Some workshops do require that you bring some things along. Now, none of that is going to be prohibitive or exhaustive, but we haven't put all that detail on the website. We haven't listed bring tweezers, bring this, bring that. All that will follow in our workshop preparation resource packs, which is where if you are required to select a design, so for example, for Moray's workshop or Ariana's or Deanna's, etc., you're going to be given those to choose from in advance. So those packs will come out to you. You'll be asked to make your selections. It will also have more information about the flow of the day and about what it is that you'll be doing, as well as what you might need to bring with you to Geelong, and also how much room you need to leave in your luggage for the return trip, because you'll be taking home the products of the workshop, many of which are not finished mosaics, but samples in progress or things that you've been working on in the workshop classes. So that will come out over the next while. And then our next live online will be Tuesday, the 2nd of April. And this is going to be a different focus. The focus of this next event is on our exhibitions. So we will be hearing from Barb Ullenbrook, who is going to be our exhibitions coordinator. And we'll also be focusing on the Common Unity project, which is facilitated by Tamara Froud and our community officer, Kristen Vollert. So that is going to be a different focus. So put that one in your calendar now. You'll also hear some more on the symposium theme from Helen Bodicombe, and it'll be a great way to connect again and to get ready for what we're going to be doing at the symposium event.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that just as a bit of a wrap up really to the presentations we've just heard from all of the presenters and the workshop leaders. I wish I was 5 people. We, you know, from Luca, who's going to be doing his demonstration model, Tamara with the Common Unity project, Arianna, Annabella, Marae said she wished she wasn't a presenter so she could take part in all these workshops, and I know how she feels. And then we have so many amazing Australian presenters, you know, Paul Perry, David Jack, as you said, our own living treasure, you know, Wendy Edwards, you know, Deanna, Catherine. There is so much on the menu at this symposium, and actually I don't think we've seen anything like this in Australia before, and I just wanted to squeeze that in. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Helen. So we're going to move on to our third part of this evening, and this is going to be facilitated by David Lacey, who is the MAANZ Membership Secretary.
Sure. All the information that you've been hearing so far is now on the website. If you go to the MAANZ website, you should see Symposium 2024 as a top-level menu. If not, just do a refresh a couple of times. Sometimes it takes a little while for new pages to arrive. I will also put a link to this in the chat as well. On the sidebar, there is a link to all the different areas that have been talked about. The registration page, which I will go to now and explain a little bit about how the registration works. You've already been told about all the good things that a registration involves. And the early bird registration, which is only available to members. So if you want to join that and are not a member, there's a join here button that can take you straight there. So you can, as soon as you've joined, you can then be part of the early bird program. Both the early bird and the non-early bird, not sure, the late bird, no, just offer 2 payment options. You can pay the full amount, or you can pay in 2 installments. If you pay in 2 installments, that is just for the registration fee, not for any of the additional workshops that you may wish to choose from. And the remaining amount will be due in late June, and I will send you a reminder if you have chosen the installment option. The program we've already talked about. It's here. If you click it, you'll get a larger version, which may help. Then we have a list of all the presenters and bios and some links about them. They're in alphabetic order in the international section, and in the local section, if you scroll down, they're in alphabetic order there as well. Remember, when you're in any of these pages linked to Symposium 2024, if you scroll up to the top, you always have this list of links here, which is attached to every page, so you shouldn't get lost. If you go to workshop details, this is where it gets a little interesting. You have here the program that has been described quite carefully by everybody. Now you notice something about the way we've coded the workshops. We're using the way of helping you understand what each workshop is, who's giving it, and when they're giving it. AW is Annabella Weaver, MS Mireille Swinnon, and the numbers are the days that they are appearing. So 1-2 means it's a 2-day workshop on the Saturday and the Sunday. A 3 against an A means that it's a Monday workshop. So this gives you a good way of understanding how the workshops fit into a timetable. As you scroll down, you'll see all the workshops explained in alphabetic order. And each of them has got the session type, whether a hands-on or a demo or a tour, the maximum number of students, and the levels which they're appropriate for, and a little bit of a spiel about the individual workshops. You might find it useful if you click this workshop timetable. That will give you a printable version of this timetable, so you can then mark on it those that you're interested in. It'd be very useful to keep that information, so that when you go to the next section, which is the humanities ticketing, you've got printed out somewhere all the ones that you want to attend. There's more information about the salon, community mosaic, and especially the accommodation that Helen Botticum explained. All that information is here. So if you weren't taking notes, don't panic. It's all there under the accommodation link. As we get vendors, their information about the vendors will be appearing on this page. And lastly, the terms and conditions, which includes our cancellation policy, etc., the sort of thing you'd expect to see in the fine print. So let's go and do a registration. Click the registration page, scroll down, and you hit the big register button. You click that button and it takes you to the Humanities website, which is where you buy and register. Click Get Tickets, and that takes you to where you choose your tickets. Note that the tickets are grouped by type. So you have registration tickets, which so far all that will be revealed is the early bird, or the 2 early bird tickets. And you can, by clicking the up arrow there, you can close that off, and then you can look at the individual workshops. It shows you the number of tickets that are left for each workshop. You can scroll down to it. First of all, of course, you have to register. So I'm going to do a registration here. You notice that you can only register for one person. This particular page also behaves as your cart. So you see that $100 appears there. If I made a mistake and want to take it off, I simply return it back to 0. So it's both selection and a cart at the same time. So I will actually do a registration here and choose one of these. Don't worry, I'll actually cancel these later afterwards. So you can see here the amount I'll be paying for that. The next thing you need to, if that's all you wanted to do, I'll show you the guest tickets as well. So if you want to choose a guest ticket, let's choose one for the symposium dinner. You can have up to 2 guests at a time. After you've done this, you need to go to the section called Enter Details. You can't do that by clicking this top level. It's actually at the bottom of the screen. So if you've got all your workshops open, you have to scroll all the way down. But if you just click the little arrow, Enter Details shows up. When you enter your details, it's all sort of standard things you would expect to see. We're asking you if you're a MAANZ member, just to so we know the cohort of people who are registering, your state or whether you're international, and is this your first symposium or not. You have to have read the terms and conditions, which I'm not going to bother to show you. And extra questions for registration are anything to do with your dietary requirements, but your guest, of course, may have some dietary requirements. So then you can save this and check out. At this point, we can, you notice that there is only a credit card option. That is because we are using a Stripe gateway, which only allows us to enter credit cards. If you have any problems with using a credit card, you can contact me directly, and I will enter your details manually. Just to be clear, the Stripe gateway is one of the most secure gateways on the market, and there are no actual problems from a security point of view. You'll notice here that if you'd like to make a small donation to cover the cost of the fees, that would be appreciated. Sorry, to be approved. If you click that, it'll just add on the booking fees, and Humanitix will give you a little thank you there. Humanitix also gives all of its profits to charity. It's much more versatile than our previous registration option. I think that's all we need. Hope to see you all there.
Thanks very much, David. There have been quite a few questions coming in. Now, I will address those because something in the setup has sent all the questions to me, which is why Wendy's question wasn't seen before. Questions regarding if people wanted to take advantage of the early registration tonight, but they don't want to book a workshop right now, they can just do the registration and then they can come back later and add a workshop.
I should have made this clear. Once you've registered, you can come back into Humanitix as many times as you like. Even though the only access is by pressing the register button, you don't have to register again. You can just choose any of those workshops or salon or guest tickets individually.
That's right. So you can come back if the caveat I would say is if there are places available.
Yes.
So we can't guarantee that there's going to be places available at a later date. However, can you please explain the waiting list?
Okay. But just to add one thing to that previous answer is that because you have to enter your name and email whenever you're buying anything, whether it's registration or just a guest ticket. That's how we know who it is. So that joins it all up. Wait lists. When a workshop is full, I will generate a wait list, and Humanitics is quite clever in how it deals with wait lists. If anybody cancels or for any reason drops out of a workshop and a space becomes available, Humanitics will, in order of people who applied on the wait list, the first person will be automatically sent an email saying, "Are you still interested?" So the wait list is a much more automated feature in Humanitics.
Thank you, David. Another couple of questions around membership. So you do not need to log into the website as a member in order to access the registration page. You can go straight to the symposium page and register. However, we will cross-check because this is early bird for members. We will cross-check.
So it's a manual process.
Yes, so you do not need to find your login information or your password. A few people have put that in the chat that they can't find that. You don't need it right now.
No,
Okay.
you don't. Yes, that's true. The early bird only lasts until the 15th of March. After that, there'll be a non-MAANZ members can join as well at a slightly higher price.
We have a question from someone about registration times and whether it's possible to register later in the evening because it's difficult to get to Geelong by 4 o'clock.
We won't be turning people away. So maybe that individual could make a note and we'll communicate via email and make sure that there'll be someone there to meet them.
Can I just say that if anybody has any questions about registration process, they can always email me at members@maanz.org.
I did want to say one more thing. There will be a MAANZ Mosaic tour. Okay, so those details have not come out yet, and they will not come out until we have filled our event, which I think we will do. However, so if you do miss out on a place here or there with one of our international guests, there will be more opportunities to book in with them at other venues hosted by our branches, either before or after the symposium event. So please stand by for any information on that. That will come out a little bit later on. But don't delay in booking your registration place, as Helen has indicated, and but there's lots more to follow. So I'll hand back to Helen again now, but thank you from me to everybody for being here, and I'm very excited what's ahead for MAANZ in 2024 and beyond.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. You've done a very, very fine job on driving all of that, and I do want to give a very, very special thanks to David, who has worked very hard too. Absolutely. We'll just do a little shadow clap all the way around. Thank you. It's been a mammoth job, actually, to put all of that together. Thank you so much, David. And thank you too to Marion, who's also really, pulled very hard on the cart for this. So what can I say? I will just share that we had 270 people register for this evening's session. Not all of them have come because people have other things on. It's still a busy time of year. It's still holiday time. I don't want to send anybody into a panic, but our places are limited. And this is the first event of its type that we've had in 5 years in Australia. It's going to be very big. And for me personally, I reflect on the AIMC symposium that we had in Melbourne in, I think, 2004, which was a very life-changing event for a lot of the people who were fortunate to be there. And it's always been my dream that we would have something similar again. And I think this is it. That's what's coming between the 14th and the 18th of November this year. So on behalf of the committee, I'd just like to wish you all very well. Thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you all again on the 2nd of April.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.